Would you trade your health for £1 billion? Would you trade it at the cost of waking up 10 years older? Would you trade it at the cost of losing all your friends and family? If you answered no to all these questions, that means you value your health, your time and your relationships at billions of pounds. Yet, we live in a world where prioritizing and glorifying materialism and working long hours to get it is the default setting. But as we reflect on the questions asked, we quickly realize what the truly valuable things in life are: our health, our time, and our relationships.
The clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period.
Of course, we want to improve our standard of living through work, growth, and productivity. But at some point, the question needs to be asked: at what cost? What is the point of working long hours for years to buy that big house and nice car when your health and relationships are suffering in the process? Time is our most precious resource, and most of us are selling it too cheaply. Does it not make sense to construct a new frame of thinking and living where our lifestyle is modified in order to prioritize what is truly important? With the rising cost of living and ever more expensive property prices, it's becoming harder for most people to have a balanced and fulfilling life. Work hours are taking up increasingly more time just to break even on monthly bills. The truly important things in life, like maintaining a healthy body and mind and nourishing our close relationships, are suffering. Many health professionals believe this is a major contributing factor to the mental health problems people are facing today, like anxiety and depression. Ironically, the majority of antidepressant sales are made in Europe and North America, the richest continents in the world. The underlying problem is that the way our monetary system is set up means that the inequality between the rich and the poor will continue to rise. Assets like property will continue to become more expensive, and most people's salaries won't be able to keep up with the prices. This process of rising inequality has been explored by the economist Thomas Piketty in his best-selling book, Capital in the 21st Century. His work concludes that inequality will get worse over time unless changes are made, like the taxation methods of the ultra-rich, who are able to evade taxes. Without change, over time, this will lead to a lower quality of life because we will have less time to prioritize the valuable things in life due to using most of our waking hours working to cover the basic necessities like food and shelter. This runaway train of rising inequality is inevitable. So what paradigm shift do we need to make to feel more content in our lives? The first and most important thing is to realize that there's a huge divide between the haves and the have-nots. Most of us are not rich, so this begs the question: why do we, the non-rich, compete, mock and fight with each other? Why do we fight even amongst our own family about small things? We're all poor and we're all struggling, so we're all in the same boat. We need to unite and work together to break free. This crabs in a bucket mentality has to change. We need to shift the way we think about ourselves and our fellow crabs. The richest 1% own almost half the wealth of the world. That is a shocking statistic. To simplify this, suppose there are 100 families and 100 properties in one community. Does it seem justifiable that one family owns 50 of the properties and provides minimal contribution to the community through tax evasion? This brings me to my next point. Since the Second World War, the rich have been hoovering up properties so there is less to go around for the have-nots. Wouldn't it be a better idea to prioritize working together to help each other achieve some level of financial freedom, rather than working individually and struggle alone? Of course we would all prefer our own home and space, but if the system has gotten so bad that we have to sacrifice most of our waking hours just to cover the basics, does it not make sense to find another way? The French are currently finding another way to make their point.
Violence, arson, clashes, that's what happened across France.
By rioting in the streets. That's one way, although it's not preferable because of the destruction and interruption it causes. Many other people in other countries go on strike in order to get a raise on their wages. That's another way to tell the ultra-rich that we've had enough of the current system, but even that has its limits. There is another way to get what you need, but it will require time and cooperation.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The first thing is the agenda of taxing the ultra-rich must be pushed forward. As a starting point, taxing individuals who have assets worth at least 10 million is one option. The Wealth Tax Commission in the UK found that taxing 1% of the wealth above 10 million could bring in around £43 billion from the 22,000 of the wealthy elite. That's over half the budget that's spent on education in the country. There are many people that have proposed various global progressive tax systems. However, unless all the people in all the countries get behind them, nothing will change, because billionaires will just flee to wherever is the most tax-friendly place. We need to share this message so that everyone who's struggling understands what the root problem is. Once there is enough awareness amongst the population, these tax ideas need to be pushed towards all government representatives in your country, your city, and your community. This should be the priority for any person that wants to help change the current system. This isn't going to be easy and it will take a long time, so in the meantime we have to still get through life by changing our thought process on what is important. Having an agreed alignment of goals and priorities amongst like-minded individuals, especially within your friends and family, is a good starting point to create a balance of making money and reclaiming back your time to create a fulfilling life in this increasingly expensive world. I believe this new way of thinking about life priorities is necessary to steer ourselves towards a future with better outcomes for our health and experience of life, without the downside of riots and war, as we push for the progressive tax system.